What is going on YouTube? It is Wes. It is very late out. I am very tired, but I am full of energy and I can't wait to talk to you guys about this video that I have. Now I am very excited to make this video today for you guys because it is going to be the intro to my new series. Now I do not have a definitive name for this series yet, but I am going to be naming it along the lines of something to do with me and telling stories about my life as I was a kid or now, some stuff that is funny, maybe some stuff that is entertaining to you guys, and just stuff that has made me who I am today as a person, which I find very important, especially the story about me eating ass for the first time. Just kidding. I'm not going to be talking about anything like that. That's a little bit too personal. But I am going to be talking about video games and how video games impacted my life throughout my years since elementary school all the way up to now. I'm currently 19, so that's a big chunk of my life spent on video games. I mean, I'm not saying that's all I do. Obviously, I do play sports and I do have friends. I do have a social life. Don't judge me. Now, how I got into video games, it's kind of weird because it all started when I was in Taekwondo camp, and it was in between my it was in between first and second grade, so I was young. I was really young, and I remember for summer I had to go to this Taekwondo camp because I couldn't be home by myself. My parents were working, and I had a few friends at the Taekwondo camp that had Game Boys, and I was like, man, that's really cool, man. I want a Game Boy, and they were playing Pokemon and stuff, and I was like, man, Pokemon's cool, bro. And like most kids, I did want to fit in, so I knew I had to get my hands on a Game Boy, man, and I played the crap out of Pokemon. I'm just going to say that. I mean, that sounds kind of nerdy or whatever, but I did play some Pokemon when I was there, man. I can remember the days chilling at Taekwondo camp, man, just sitting with the homies, you know what I'm saying? We were just playing Pokemon. And that phase eventually died out, kind of. It got to like third grade year, so it had been like a year. I never really played anything else, so I was getting kind of bored of Pokemon. So there was a PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was out then, and we had one at my Taekwondo camp. And we played it quite a lot, actually. We'd play like Tekken on it and stuff, and Tekken was obviously a lot of fun. Sometimes I'll even still play it now, to be honest with you. It's one of my favorite fighting games, but I knew I wanted to get a PlayStation 2, so I kept nagging my parents, and they eventually bought me one Christmas of my third grade year. Now, when I had asked for my PlayStation 2, I didn't really say what game I wanted or anything, so, I mean, my parents kind of didn't know what they were doing, obviously, so they just bought me a random game, and that game happened to be Jak and Daxter, and I can't even explain it, man. Jak and Daxter, man, it's one of my favorite games ever because first, it was the first game I played, and second, just like the experiences I had when I was younger, especially I'd have my friends over and we'd play, and Jak and Daxter is honestly what made me love playing video games. So after playing Jak and Daxter for a while, I would eventually get more PS2 games. I would play a lot of Tekken, like I said. Ratchet and Clank was also something very important and special to me. It's one of the very first games I played, too. Love that game, man. Jeez, the Ratchet and Clank series. Too bad, man. I work at a movie theater, and that the Ratchet and Clank movie just came out, man. It was so disappointing. I remember besides Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, God of War and Grand Theft Auto were also very important games to me in PS2, and it's actually a really funny story how I got introduced into those games. My dad, he gained some interest in playing those, and he bought those games for himself, and sometimes at night he would lock the door to the game room and he'd be playing, and it was funny because one night I snuck in there actually because I can hear him like raging at God of War, and I played and he caught me, and he was a little upset because I guess he didn't want me experiencing that kind of violence, I guess, when I was young, but it was actually a really funny story. So with my video game interests like peaking and everything like that, I decided that I needed to get an Xbox too, man, and this is when I got introduced to FPS. My parents bought me an Xbox, and I played a lot of Halo. And man, Halo was also it's the first person shooter I played. So I mean, it's always going to be in my heart as one of the best first person shooters out there. Combat Evolved, shout out Halo, man. That was how I was introduced to first person shooters, and I also played a lot of games like Doom on it and the original Forza games. Man, everything was so good back then. Just like thinking about it now, like all the racing games, I loved everything, and I played a lot of Halo and even Star Wars Knights of the Republic. I spent a lot of time on that game when I was younger as well. Now I'm starting to transition into middle school, and this is 6th grade year, 2006, right when the 360 came out, and the 360 being introduced to me or whatever was maybe the most important part of my gaming life. I spent so much time on the 360, playing so many games, meeting a lot of cool people online, talking to a lot of my actual friends online, and just it was a lot of fun. And plus, for me, it was also a way to escape kind of my most awkward phase of life, which was the beginning of middle school. And middle school necessarily wasn't tough for me to deal with, as I was a relaxed kid, but I mean, it was my more awkward phase. And getting into middle school, I was always skinny. Especially in elementary school, people would tell me to gain weight all the time because I was like really skinny. So I would say like the 360 was really important to me then, and it is and always will be, because it was my way of just being able to do what I loved back then, and I was play video games, and that was my way of, I guess, escaping the real life, which it wasn't that. I'm not trying to make it seem like it was horrendous, but I mean, it was just like my more awkward phase, like I said. But the first game I actually really played was Oblivion, and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is by far my favorite game of all time. I've probably spent well over 1,000 hours playing it, and that sounds really nerdy, but I don't really care. Bethesda games in general are all in my top 10 favorite games ever, because Bethesda just makes such good quality games. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, but that was all I played for like the beginning of my console life was Oblivion. Played a lot of Fallout 3 when that came out, but that didn't come out for a couple years after. But I generally remember playing so many games that I can't remember. I can't name all of them, obviously, but Oblivion, I played such a long time with, like I said, Fallout 3, Borderlands. Borderlands was amazing. I loved the first Borderlands. I loved the second Borderlands, but Borderlands is another one of my favorite series. BioShock, actually, too. BioShock was one of the first games I played, and that was a unique experience because it was kind of, back then, I thought like the graphics were awesome on BioShock. It was like mind-blowingly good. And I almost forgot to mention, yes, I did play a lot of COD. I loved COD back in the day. Modern Warfare 2 was my game. World at War was my game. COD 4 was my game. Black Ops 1 was my game. Modern Warfare 3 was my game. Up until that point, I mean, after that, I played some Black Ops 2, but my interest from Call of Duty just fell away, and actually I started gaining a real interest for Battlefield. And Battlefield turned into probably one of my favorite like military first-person shooter now. But anyways, so that's why the 360 was really important to me. Games like Oblivion just like changed my life. I mean, they were so in depth and so like there's so much content. It was so many things to do, and it just kept me entertained all the time. It just was so fun, and every game, to be honest, that I played I enjoyed. But there's like just certain games for the 360 that like changed my life, and I still like going into 10th grade year of high school. Right before the Xbox One came out, I would still play like Oblivion, and I'd still play games from back in 2006 and stuff on the 360 just because I loved them so much. Like I would, if my 360 is kind of like out of function right now, but if I could play it, I'd be playing Oblivion sometimes. It just has so many memories. So like when I got into high school, I mean, I would still play console every once in a while, but I slimmed down and I started hanging out with my friends more and started doing more stuff, and I started to lose interest, to be honest, with video games, and about 2012, or not 2012, my bad, 2014, when the Xbox One came out. I had a girlfriend. I was in like a relationship for a long time, and I had a girlfriend, and I was hanging out with my friends, like I said, and I started losing some interest in playing video games, and I wasn't even interested in buying the Xbox One at first. For like the first 6 months, I didn't even think about buying it. I played 360 every once in a while because I really wasn't into video games as much, and it's sad to say that now because video games actually were really important to me in middle school, and I feel like they should be always important to me in some way, but just because of how they changed my life. But yeah, it was kind of, just looking back at it now, it's kind of sad that I almost just completely dropped playing video games for good. So I would eventually come to my senses, I guess I would say, and probably about 7 months later, after the Xbox One came out, I did decide I should buy it. And I did buy it, and I still really didn't feel the same way that I felt playing the 360. I don't know, there was just something different about the Xbox One. I didn't find really the games interesting. I mean, I played Madden and some sports games on it, but I never really found any game that I really enjoyed playing on it. And coming into like the end of 2015, I really wasn't playing video games that much at that time, and my friend actually that I've known for a while since middle school, and he told me he had a PC, and he was telling me how I should just get a PC. He's like, man, there's so much more quality and depth of video games, and there's so much more variety. I'm not trying to make this like a PC versus console war, because consoles will always have a special place in my heart, like I've said many times, but I really wanted to get back into playing video games. Like, I broke up with my girlfriend, and I mean, I was just having a rough time, and I thought that playing video games with my friends would actually, like, and I was playing a lot of basketball and stuff, and trying to fit in video games would probably help me out. And so I decided, with the money I saved from work, to spend some of it on buying a PC, and let me tell you, it was probably one of the best things I've ever done. Now, I've had my PC for over a few months now, and like I said, it was one of the best things I've ever done. As you can tell, I've been uploading a lot of Overwatch lately, and I've actually been trying to stay away from PC the last couple of days. I've been going out and playing some stuff, like doing sports activities and whatever, just to get away, because I was just playing a lot of Overwatch when it came out. And it's not even just Overwatch, there's so many quality games on Steam and everything, and I played so many, and I've had so much fun with my friends, and it's just really cool to get that experience again, being able to just enjoy video games like I did back in middle school. And I gotta tell you, like, one of the best things, like I said, I've ever done was buy this PC, because it's really reopened my mind, and there's so many things I can try, there's so many things I can do now, so many options I can make for you guys on YouTube, and it just gives me like whole bunches of opportunities, and I'm like really excited for. Now, I know this has been kind of a long video, and it might have been a little bit boring, but I actually kept it really short and simple, because if I would have went in depth with everything, this probably could have been an hour long at least. Like, I've done so much shit with Xbox and everything like that. I could tell so many stories, but I try to keep it short and simple. I will be uploading more of these kinds of videos in the future. Like I said, I will try to figure out the name of the series. Probably be just like a story time series kind of thing, to just tell you about my stuff. But thank you for supporting me so far. 23 subscribers might not seem like a lot to everyone, but to me that's like a huge accomplishment. Without you guys, I wouldn't be making these videos. It just makes me so happy making these videos. It's so fun. But I really hope you guys did enjoy, and please like and subscribe. Be in tune next week. I will be uploading various amounts of videos, so thank you for watching. See ya.